What did Disney do that made them spike? What new SPAC is forming this time? Why did Bitcoin jump again and 17 more? What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Budgets and Brews morning coffee break, where we discuss, chat, and ramble about last week's top 20 financial headlines.
Today is February 14th, 2021. Let's get that coffee out and start brewing those hot headlines. Don't forget, you can watch these episodes on YouTube if you are currently listening via our podcast.
Happy Valentine's Day. We're going to go ahead and discuss our top 10 favorite, and then we're going to go ahead and list and link the remaining 10 for your enjoyment. Headline number one, Disney said it now has 95 million Disney Plus subscribers, meaning it gained 8 million in just 1 month. It also returned to profitability in Q4. Tony, what's your take?
I think Disney is doing some surprising things because obviously they were hit really hard by COVID, having to close down their parks and stuff. So seeing that they're making up some of that with their Disney Plus service that they launched has been really great. And I think Disney's going to be a sleeper once the COVID impacts start to die down. I really think it's going to be, put them on a rocket going back up stock-wise.
Yeah, I think they had to make a shift initially when COVID happened. And because of that, they really pushed all their marketing and efforts towards that Disney Plus subscription, which really gained traction.
Paying off, yeah.
And then some of those movies that would have aired are, now pushed onto that Disney Plus platform instead of in theaters, that they focused their attention on there too. And so I think it is a snowball effect. And I think once we see COVID start to sort of diminish and, the curve is being flattened and everything, the parks start going back up again, we're going to see even more growth.
Revenue,
on top of all of that. So the one thing I do question is once that timing comes in, does Disney Plus still live? Does it become one of those staple streaming services? And they partnered with a couple. I think they partnered with ESPN and Hulu.
Yeah.
So you could do a couple of those things. So I'm wondering if that becomes that staple. If so, if they can click that, watch out, Disney.
Yeah, I think Disney's going to be around. Disney Plus will be around for a while. I think their big competitor is going to be Netflix, and those are going to be the two big players in the game. Next up here, we have genetic testing firm 23andMe is going public via SPAC, backed by Richard Branson, the owner of Virgin Group. Rich, what do you think about that?
So I think that, and we actually sort of discussed a little bit about this last week, just in brief conversation, anything that SPACs now goes up. That's what I feel. I feel like there's always something in the news that's saying so-and-so just SPAC. And it could be just this random company you never even heard of, and someone gets a hold of it and they shoot it public and it inflates. And so I think this is going to be one of those things. I think just because the era that we are in, this weird gambling on stocks pandemic, I don't know what you call
Everyone's
it.
going public. All the stocks are shooting up.
Everyone's going, I think that's what it is. And so I don't know in the future, do I see this sustainable? I honestly don't. I think like a DNA testing firm, what's so special about that?
People like it, man.
Once you're tested, that's it though. Once you run out of people, like, I'm not going to get tested again. I have my results. So what keeps that reoccurring thing? Now there could be, someone might be like, oh, well, it's this, and this. Could be. I don't know. I never signed up for one of these things. I really don't have any interest to, but I think it's going to blow up, but I just don't think it's sustainable. How is it going to, stay profitable and things like that? That's my take on it, but someone educate me otherwise.
Yeah. And I think we've been saying Spock. It's actually probably SPAC, I think is what it is. But someone correct us in the comments. Let us know how to pronounce this. But you want to move on to the next one here?
All right, economy. Job loss claims. They dropped slightly last week. While more than 20 million people still collect unemployment in late January, economists are hopeful that the recent downturn trend in COVID cases will allow the labor market to sort of mend further. What's your take on that, Tony?
I think it's good. I mean, we definitely want to see unemployment rates continue to drop. We want to see that job market continue to rise. I think a certain amount of people will just get comfortable with unemployment, but the benefits will only last so long. So hopefully the job market has to swing back, and as people become vaccinated and as this disease becomes lesser and lesser, I hope we kind of see a jump back into the economy, a little boost for everyone to get back to work and get back to that kind of like normacy of life,
100%. I agree. Number 4, Hasbro reported a 43% bump in annual online sales during the pandemic, and rightfully so. Why not, right? There's toys, you need to occupy your kids, teenagers, whatever that is, and if you can't go out and you can't buy this stuff, you go online. Online businesses have boomed all over the place, whether it's Amazon, looks like Hasbro's joining right in with that. And so they're selling their toys now online, the digital marketing, all the advertisements done now, and people are buying. So it makes sense. It makes sense why this, bumped. Does this continue? I mean, or is it now going to be more in stores? What do we see with that? Not sure. I don't know. What are you thinking?
Well, I mean, Hasbro's online sales bumped 43%. That's a huge amount. That's like almost, close to a 50% jump in their online sales. That's a big thing. Obviously, this is due to COVID, right? Yeah. I mean, it's apparent. Online sales, parents are at home. Kids are at home. Schools have been shut down. People have been laid off. A lot of families spending a lot more time together. You want to keep your kids occupied and buying toys online for them. So I don't think this will continue once COVID dies down. But it's great for Hasbro.
I don't read this and say I'm going to go invest my money in Hasbro.
Yeah, Hasbro's going to shoot to the moon.
Yeah, I know.
No, they had a great quarter. They had a great, actually it was an annual sales increase, so it was annually, but they did great last year, and that's awesome. I think that's all there is to it.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Elon Musk set the price of Bitcoin soaring Monday by having Tesla purchase $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. So I'm sure a lot of people have heard about this flying around. Bitcoin jumped 15% that day, which is huge.
Tesla did not.
Yeah, Tesla did not. No,
I think it moved like 1% or something like that. Because some folks were saying, well, maybe Tesla's, doing, but no. So this is more of a cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. If that is your thing, that's why it's going up, not Tesla fans.
Yeah, and it's just, Elon Musk kind of showing his support to Bitcoin by making this big investment. In other news, Jay-Z, Twitter, and Square CEO Jack Dorsey have established an endowment to fund a Bitcoin development and poured 500 Bitcoins, almost worth $24 million, to kick it off. So there's other support happening there. Also, MasterCard said last week that it's going to start supporting some cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin on its network later this year. They're kind of following suit with what we've seen Square and PayPal do, allowing their user base to purchase things with Bitcoin and, do trading and transfers and stuff like that.
No, it's definitely going to be interesting, and it's one of those cryptos that I would be keeping an eye on. I mean, now it just seems like more and more people are getting on board with that. If I was going to invest, once again, money to burn, I might take a gamble. I do see, now I can sort of see in the future, because so many people are hopping along, this might go up. But
what's funny is a lot, you're either on the side of it or you're not on the side of it. And Rich, I could tell you're teetering in the middle there a little bit, but a lot of these investment people are saying like, we're not going to put Bitcoin in our hedge fund managing portfolios and stuff because it's too volatile, and it's not the way you should invest, at least right now. And then, you see all these corporate people backing Bitcoin. So it's kind of like a two-sided argument here,
In the beginning, when it was a buzzword and people were just talking about it, but it didn't really get much thought and consideration of, oh yes, I'm going to start investing in this, like, sure, whatever. You just didn't have the research. You didn't have people backing it. It was just a word. It was just a thing, and it happened. Now it's just more and more people are getting behind it. You're hearing more and more talks about it, and it's becoming the number one cryptocurrency. There's 100 other ones out there too, but that is the one that's taking front stage. And so now, giving that time, getting more news stories out here, seeing what other people are doing, that's where I'm leaning to. Okay, I think it's going to be going up. Am I going to bet on it yet? No. Am I going to put money in it? No, not yet, but I can see it. I'm not a hater. I'm not a complete Bitcoin hater.
Yeah. So you can see it being integrated in, and there's, you can't really argue with that. If it's happening, it's happening. And, it'll probably continue to happen. And one thing I've noticed is I've been reading up on this a little bit, and they say as the market cap gets bigger for Bitcoin, the volatility lessens. So the more people that support this and the bigger it gets, the less volatile supposedly it's supposed to get.
Could you imagine if we didn't have fractional shares though?
Oh, yeah, no one would own Bitcoin.
No one would own any of the Bitcoin. Yeah,
because you'd have to put such a large amount of money.
Yeah,
into
like
it,
what?
which is
What's
crazy.
$40-something thousand now?
Yeah.
Number 6, Uber is testing free rides to Walgreens for COVID vaccine appointments in underserved communities. The pilot cities are Chicago, Atlanta, Houston, and El Paso. I thought that was pretty cool. I think it's interesting and it's great marketing. You know what I mean? Like for Uber, like that's huge that Uber's like, God, come get a free ride. I wonder how many people are going to abuse this. Like, hey, I need to go to Walgreens. Like, do you have to show an appointment thing to your Uber driver? I don't know.
Right? There's got to be something.
Or fill a form out.
Used.
Yeah, but I'm like, that's still like, that's cool. That's free marketing.
Is Uber just doing this out of the kindness of their heart? Are they getting some sort of tax break from like the government? You know, because there was things passed in Congress or whatever, where one of the Congress or Senate people were like, "Oh, you should not be paying for anything COVID testing related. This is going to be covered." There was like a bunch of news on it and stuff like that. So
good thoughts right there. I'm right there with you on that. Interesting.
Next one up, we have Cannabis Stocks, and they jump again. With Tilray, am I saying that correctly?
Tilray.
Okay, Tilray leading the pack. Right. So they're leading the pack, closing it up 51% on Wednesday. So
which is very interesting right here.
Yeah. Give us your take.
Because what happened on Wednesday? They fell. So it was pre Wednesday. They were up pre Wednesday, and then they actually fell 49%. Closing at the end of the day on Wednesday. So one day they're up, one day they're down, and it's a huge swing. That's when it or Thursday. Thursday.
Like
that's
day
what
traders
up,
going on there.
We got to correct this. Up Wednesday 51, down 49 on Thursday. That's what it is. Wednesday up, Thursday they're down. That's what they're at.
Yeah, and why is this happening? Cannabis stocks took the bump up, and then they kind of had a dip down. There's a lot of stuff going on with cannabis reform from a federal standpoint. A lot of people are looking at these stocks, with those greedy eyes. Like if something passes, if reform takes place, this is going to be great for those companies. The stock is going to shoot up. Cannabis has been a buzzword for the past how many years now, as it becomes more legalized in many states on the state level. Right. So, and Joe Biden.
Is really interesting. Well, I was just going to say that. I was going
go ahead.
With the Democratic Party, that's that's what the news articles were saying on Wednesday is why that it shot up. With the weed stock shot up because they're trying to legalize weed at a national level. And so everyone's like, oh, okay, they put this money in, these stocks are going up, and then all of a sudden the next day it just drops pretty much the same. So it's interesting. It's interesting what happened, that day that made it drop.
Yeah.
Number eight, your Apple Watch may be able to flag a case of COVID-19 a week sooner than that good old-fashioned nasal swab, according to new research. I thought that was really interesting that your Apple and I guess in this article when you start reading it, it has to do with like your heartbeat and things like that.
Biometrics,
yeah. So right. I thought that was pretty cool, and I'm sure that definitely benefited Apple's stock.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and maybe they've seen a bump, but this is really cool. And we've been waiting for these Apple Watches to have some sort of use other than fitness tracker, So it's really awesome that, having these things on tracks your biometrics. Apple feels that it has enough data now that they can, things like this are being published where they can essentially predict if someone's coming down with COVID before you even get that nasal swab that tickles your brain. Man, I'm so scared to get one of those things. I'm a big baby. I don't want any of that. So I will have my Apple Watch on. But yeah, anyways, moving on to number 9. Last Thursday, America's number 2 dating app, Bumble, went public, gaining 63% on the day to close at an $8 billion valuation. This is something we've talked about. Anything that goes public, their stock prices shoot up, and they just shoot up and they shoot up, and people are just riding this IPO train. I personally think Bubble's a great app. I've heard about it a lot in the past, and now they went public. That's great for them. They have a lot of women in their leadership positions and executive positions at this company. I think that's fantastic. It's something you don't see a lot. And I'm just, I'm happy for the company.
Yeah. So. And what's really, really cool about this is not only is it dating, but you could also, they have like a friends. You can make friends with it. And they also have a work portion too. I haven't dived into that. I'm just reading about it. I'm like, it's interesting like that. The work networking or something like that portion. So it's like not strictly dating.
Buzz or Fuzz or they have like these different parent company apps or where you can do stuff.
And
like
a lot of people gravitated towards this one is because the woman has to make the first move. So like you can get a request, but in order to start the conversation, it has to be the female to initiate that conversation, which was also pretty cool. Leading to our 10th one, Target's activewear brand All in Motion generated $1 billion in annual sales. And once again, this is one of those things that you look at it and you're like, oh, that makes sense. Because what has happened since the pandemic? People have been working out at their home. I mean, those people still have to get, that workout in. Well, a lot of the gyms were shut down. Sure. A lot of the gyms had that limited capacity and things like that. And then a lot of people were just like, even if mine's open, I don't want to go there just because I'm not comfortable with that yet. So what are people doing? Home workouts, home gyms, and this All in Motion activewear brand. People have been buying it, and Target's one of those places that it can withstand the pandemic, right? So those bigger things. Definitely. Shops are the ones that got sort of cramped on, but it's a place that lives, so it does make sense, and I'm sure they're flourishing right now.
So this is active. All in Motion is an activewear, so this is like sports, clothing, and stuff like that. I've never even heard of this at all.
I don't.
But apparently a
Target
billion
is
in
fancy
sales
for me.
Right? Yeah, $1 billion in sales is doing great. So kudos to them. And, good job for that. So we got 10 more headlines to go through, and we're just going to run through these ones for your enjoyment.
They made our list.
They made our
list, but we're just going to link them all in the description.
Yeah. So number 11, we have Kroger is paying $100 to workers to get vaccinated. Good job, Kroger. Keep it up.
Yep. Number 12, should the federal minimum wage go to 15? This is a very big debate. The Congressional Budget Office talks actually about both sides in this argument. So definitely check that out.
Awesome. Next, we have DoorDash bought its startup Chowbotics. This is not its startup, but Chowbotics is known for its automated salad-making robot, and they bought out that company. So good for DoorDash.
Interesting. Number 14, GameStop stock continued to tumble. It fell to about $50 a share last Tuesday. And remember, its peak was January 28th at $483 a share.
Old news. I think GameStop's dead now, but who knows? Amazon is developing a wall-mounted Echo device that will function as a smart home control panel, according to a Bloomberg report. This is awesome. I love this kind of stuff, so good job, Amazon. Looking forward to that.
Number 16, Aurora is teaming up with Toyota and Denso on self-driving minivans.
Been seeing a lot of that lately.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Burger King is rolling out a loyalty program in 5 U.S. markets. So check that link out if you want to learn more.
Yeah. 18, last Wednesday, electric aircraft startup Archer said it will SPAC into the public markets in a deal that values it at $3.8 billion. And we've been talking about this a lot, SPAC. It stands for a special purpose acquisition company. That's what it is. It's pretty much like a blank check shell corporation designated to take companies public without going through the traditional IPO of going out there, pitching to investors, piling up that cash and going.
Yeah.
And, we talked about Richard Branson and the Virgin Group. It's, well, I think this company will do good. Let me take it under my wing. I will, throw all my investments in there. Boom, let's just go public. Like, let's do it now instead of the traditional thing. So that's what the SPAC is.
Cool. Yeah, definitely. Thanks for that. Number 19, the NBA will require all teams to play the national anthem before games. This is one day after Mavericks owner Mark Cuban said he'd stop playing the national anthem before the Mavs games. So, I don't know, is that like a spite thing there? I don't know what's happening.
I don't know, but I was just thinking, like, with this headline, what was interesting to me is because it's just like sports are getting very political. Yeah. Like, that's what this sort of comes down to. And when you start looking, yes, they're getting political. Now let's take a step back. Let's look at it from the balcony. Are you going to be like, which way do you go that's going to help your viewership, or is it going to, you're going to lose viewership? Because in all essence, it's a business. Sports is a business. It's that's what it is. And so I think that's what the coaches, that's what the managers, the franchisers, like, they're all trying to figure this stuff out. And I just thought that was interesting news because that almost puts the pendulum, okay, nope, you cannot not do that. You're going to be anyway. 20, last but not least, the dating app Bumble, and we talked about this one too. Went public, gained the 63% of the day. So we have a duplicate in there.
Yeah, but of the roughly 560 IPOs from the last 12 months, Bumble is the third with a female founder, as we kind of mentioned. So pretty cool.
Pretty cool. And that wraps up this week's episode, and we hope you enjoy the morning coffee break. Tune in next week to see what is brewing. In the meantime, don't forget to follow us on Facebook. Stay up to date with all of our current finance trends. And hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to help support our channel. Thank you. Cheers.
See you.